Hey guys, Hitman89 here, I hope you're doing great. Last week I reviewed Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, check it out if you're interested. And today we're doing Starfield, which came out a year ago and disappointed a lot of people with its extremely limited exploration full of loading screens. There were also quite a few bugs, and Xbox users had to play it at 30 FPS. But now that the Shattered Space expansion is only a couple weeks away and the base game already received quite a few updates, I thought I'd review it again a year later in order to answer the following question. Is Starfield good now? Let's find out. But first, special thanks to Instant Gaming for sponsoring the channel. They have all your favorite games for super cheap. You could get 2 or even 3 games on Instant Gaming for the price of 1. For example, you could get Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 and V-Rising for the price of 1 game. Or maybe get Game Pass Ultimate for your PC and Xbox and later on get the Shattered Space expansion for cheap. Instant Gaming is 100% legit. All the games come straight from the authorized resellers, so go ahead and use the link in the description to get your favorite games for cheap. Now let's get back to the review. I played Starfield day 1 on Series X, beat it in 3 days and uninstalled it. I thought it was fine, it could have been amazing, if only they changed everything. This review was shot on both Series X and PC. First thing I checked is the display settings and would you look at that, there's now a 60 FPS mode on Series X. Awesome, but the question is, why didn't they add it at launch? Don't forget to subscribe for more terrible Dr. Phil impressions. So this is basically what Bethesda said when people asked for a performance mode at launch.
No way. No way. Why not? Because
Microsoft could have used some of their infinite money to make it happen, but they don't care about Xbox. All they care about is their fucking Game Pass. Nothing will make you wanna get a PS5 like an Xbox exclusive.
Just joking with you.
In all seriousness though, at first I was pretty happy with the 60 FPS, but my most recent save was indoors. As soon as I went to the city, I realized the game runs like shit. Try running, or even better, try driving this car and you'll see how much worse the game would run. Oh, and yeah, they finally added vehicles. I mean vehicle, cause they've only added this car. Bethesda is a tiny ass studio, it takes them a whole year to add the 60 FPS mode in a car. Makes sense. You just have to talk to one of these ship services tech guys and pay 25k to get your Rev 8. Now I don't know about you, but as soon as I got it, there was only one thing I wanted to try. Running people over. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but even when it does, enemies in this game are such bullet sponges that you have to run them over about 69 times to kill them. You know what this car doesn't have trouble killing though? The frame rate. On PC, with a 4080, it gets a little choppy, not acceptable for a game where you're basically driving around on an empty map, but still, it remains playable. On Series X though, the game literally turns into a slideshow. After driving around for like 15 minutes on Series X, I had to stop and switch to the PC version. It was just awful. But somehow, that's still not as awful as the AI. Enemies in Starfield can be super dumb at times. They would just stand there and take your shots one after the other until they die. And my companions aren't any better. Not only they don't do shit half the time, but also they kept getting in my way every time there was a gunfight. I have a question, did the game make you care about any of your companions? Cause personally, I don't give a single fuck about none of these dumbasses. Everyone in this game is soulless. Look at these poor fucks. They just walk around or stand there doing nothing unless you get close enough to them. Then they would awkwardly start staring at you with their big ass eyes. It's like that SpongeBob meme, except everyone in this game looks sad all the time. At least when you pull out your gun and start shooting, they don't do anything. I can't believe they still haven't fixed this. Pedestrians and guards only react to being hit. Quest-related NPCs don't seem to give a shit though. And that's not the only dead thing about this world. 89% of the time, when you land on a planet, there's nothing interesting to see apart from an abandoned mine or an enemy outpost and some creatures that look like dinos. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about the lame traveling system by now. Everything is done through this menu, you get a few loading screens before you finally land on a barren planet, drive around a little bit, until you get that boundary reached message. Still, when you think about it, it's really impressive how they managed to make 1,000 planets. Did they only make 20 NPC models though? Cause I've seen tons of clones so far. It's hilarious how the game always manages to put these motherfuckers in the same area, and if you're lucky, you'll see some of them standing right next to each other. I've had way less bugs than I did at launch, nothing really crazy apart from Andreja having some conjuring action. All the other hilarious stuff in this game is there by design apparently. Just like the persuasion system, it's so bad you can talk to a criminal and literally say,
"Hey man, turn yourself in."
and they'll go,
Okay.
by the way, I like how they made the Arab guy say this.
This will be fun. And hopefully there will be no explosions in the process.
It's not realistic at all though, cause as an Arab, I was really hoping the whole thing would blow up. All jokes aside now, I like the story, I found it interesting and intriguing, it's probably the only thing that kept me going. I also like how the concept of New Game Plus was directly implemented into the story. There's a crafting system, you can also build outposts to collect resources, but you lose all that stuff if you start a New Game Plus. Oh, and you can customize your ship too, which is cool, but I didn't do the side stuff that much cause I didn't find the main game interesting enough. If you wanna play some quality content and enjoy the game like I did, apart from following the main quest line, you could just walk around in any city and you'll have a few people say stuff like,
Hey there, can I talk to you for a second?
get those side quests and do them. Even if some of them are fetch quests, trust me, they'll be 100 times more fun than landing on a random planet and hoping to find something interesting to do. For real, the handcrafted content is good, but other than that, there's nothing interesting to see. In my opinion, if they only made a few planets with 4 cities each and more handcrafted locations, then the game would have been much more fun to explore. That's why I think the expansion is promising. We'll see. For now, let's move on to the verdict. Starfield has an incredibly outdated and flawed design with many decisions that can't be fixed with patches or even mods, plus it took them a whole year to make some significant improvements. The game is still not that good, but it's definitely more fun to play, and that's why I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. If you have Game Pass, definitely give Starfield a shot if you haven't played it yet, but personally, I'm much more interested in playing the expansion since it'll offer a scripted, well-designed experience. Cause even though it's called Shattered Space, all the new points of interest will be on the same planet, making exploration much more fun and similar to the classic Bethesda games. We'll see. For now, that's gonna be it for my Starfield a year later review. I hope you found it helpful, or at least funny. Please subscribe for more game reviews like this one, and also for top 10 videos on the best games to play per platform and genre. Speaking of the best games, don't forget to get all your games for cheap using the link in the description. It's been Hitman89, have a good one.
You got this, you gotta want it. Life ain't fair. Are you gonna win or will you play scared? I will not stop, I am prepared to get to the top, yeah, you must be rare. Got 'em like, hey